Now I'm going to hit the standstill detection here because I'm driving a diesel truck. So it's vibrating quite a bit and we don't want it to think the vehicle's moving, and that's the beauty of standstill detection. So I'm going to auto determine the rate here. And then we're going to watch it do this standstill. Already you can see it's raising that threshold based on being in drive in my diesel truck. So let's see what it came out with, 7. All right, so that's a good number. Now we're going to go over to the add-ons. And we're going to set up this brake testing add-on, braking data add-on. This is going to hopefully really save some time for you. Now we're going to go in here, set up our brake testing parameters according to your test criteria. There's a few things we need to do, like set up the data source. In this case, I'm just simply using the POI1, point of interest number 1. I'm going to use a single velocity to do the arming. Set up my abort condition, my start velocity here. And again, set this up according to your braking parameters. Then we're going to go over to load save start, and I'm just going to go ahead and start it here. Now when I do that, next thing I'm going to do is open up the software. I am going to go to setup here, and I'm going to load the settings that we just changed. And it's going to go grab using Ethernet. We're going to make sure that the IP settings are right, and it shows up in green here. We're going to see that the braking add-on is set up here, and it's looking like it's receiving data. So now I'm going to go up to the measure panel. And you notice that ready for initialization is orange. And what that means is we're going to set still for a second here. When that turned green, now we can do our straight line. So I'm going to slowly move over to a place in the parking lot where I can do my straight line. Notice that the Kalman filter is at 0 because we haven't done our straight line initialization, and we need to do some figure 8s for a minute or two to get it all set up. The bottom here is the braking table we're going to use, which is going to give us row after row of braking tests. So next thing I'm going to do is line up and get ready to do the straight line. Okay, so I'm ready to do my straight line now. I'm ready for initialization. I got lots of room here to do it, and I'm just going to go ahead and get up past my trigger speeds. And then I'm going to head back to the T.O. Johnson Proving Grounds where I'm going to do some figure 8s. And we're going to watch as the Kalman filter, stop here for a second, the Kalman filter will quickly settle out. Even with our lowest end unit, the ADMA-Speed, it initializes very quickly. So you won't be wasting time on the proving ground getting the system ready. So as I said here, you're going to see this number go up in a hurry as I do my drive. Again, I'm just doing some figure 8s, and as soon as these numbers are above 70% on the proving ground where you don't have outages, you'll have some pretty good data. I'm going to go ahead and try to get it to 100 though, so that the lateral, longitudinal, and steady state Kalman filter is fully settled. Also, you'll notice that we're in GNSS mode. We're getting 11 out of 12 satellites. There's a lot of other data that we can use to make sure the system is operating properly. So I'll pause for a second, and then I'll be back once I'm fully initialized. Okay, I did a few more figure 8s, and then I drove over to a different area so I can do some nice brake testing. I'm not fully initialized here, but we've got plenty of Kalman filter there, so I'm not worried about my data right now. So based on our setup, our criteria for brake testing, I'm going to go ahead and start taking some data here. So I'm going to hit the record button because I want to actually save this data. So I hit record, and now I'm going to go ahead and do a brake test. So let's see. We're going to get above that threshold, which was 40. I'm going to hit my brakes. And we look down here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get another one. That was number 1. So start again. Get going here. Brake. There's our next line, number 2. I'm going to turn off my auto off feature because I don't want to restart I don't want to be restarting anything. You don't want it powering down. So now I'm going to come back, get into a better spot here. Notice the speed limit's 25. Here we go. So, again, there's number 2 test based on that data. So now we're going to do this again and get going. Get above my speed, hit the brakes. There's my next row. There's my next bit of data. And I can do this, of course, over and over again. Get above my speed. Brakes. There's my next row.